Welcome to Travel Babble with Basha. I'm Basha, and today let's sail right in to our topic. You've booked the cruise. You have your shore excursions planned. You have transportation to and from the port. You pull out your suitcase and freeze. What should you pack? You don't want to overpack. I'm very guilty of that, as you'll probably see. But you don't want to be on your cruise and realize you forgot something important. Let's go through some items. Some essential items, some optional, and some that you really don't need, but they're nice to have. First, the essential items. Nothing is more important than your documents. I have a nice handy purse that I carry them in. Most of the time you're going to need your passport. There may be sometimes if it's a closed loop port that you can go with just a birth certificate, but it's always better to have a passport in case something happens. You have to get off the ship and fly home. I also have global entry, which sometimes gets me back into the country faster. We'll talk about that in another video. I have a yellow card that shows that I am fully immunized for many different travel requirements. And of course, in these days, you need your COVID card. Most cruise lines, at this point, you can cruise without being vaccinated, but there may be additional requirements if you cannot provide your card, depending on where you are sailing to. Of course, you need to have some good old cash. Depending on, again, the country, you may need other currencies. Most cruise ships, at least in the U.S. and out of the U.S., work in U.S. dollars. And most countries that you will stop at will take U.S. dollars if you're sailing from a U.S. port. But keep that in mind. Of course, you need your clothes. Look at where you're going. Are you going to somewhere warm? You need your shorts, your t-shirts, your dressy tops. Maybe you need some pants. You need your favorite travel sweatshirt. This is mine. You also need something comfortable to lay around in. And depending on the cruise line, you may need what we can call your fancy dress-up clothes. Some cruise lines are freestyle. They have minimal requirements. It may be a collared shirt and a nice pair of pants, but only in certain restaurants. Other ones will have a fancy night, depending on the length of your cruise, maybe once or twice. You want to dress up for those. You don't have to go the full tux and evening gown, but you may want to. Purely up to you. When we talk about clothes, don't forget your shoes. Are you going to be doing a lot of walking? Have comfortable walking shoes, hiking shoes, dress shoes. And I don't travel without my slippers. I love just having a nice pair of slippers to put on to walk around in my room. You may also need to have water shoes if you're going to be spending a lot of time on the beach. How do you pack these clothes? I use packing cubes. They help me compress my clothes together. You roll them. It's amazing how much you can get in there. I can actually take a tiny suitcase and overpack the 50 pounds that most airlines allow because I've compressed them so much. Keep that in mind. Don't forget your swimsuit either. Toiletries. Many cruise ships will provide limited toiletries. They may provide shampoo. They may provide some kind of shower gel or a soap. I have never had a problem with their shower gel or the shampoo on any of the cruise lines that I have cruised on. However, I do take my own conditioner because I'm very picky about my conditioner. You need to make a choice of which you want to take and which you don't. One of the other very essential items is your first aid kit. I've been on a cruise where I had to visit the medical center. It was a nice, interesting way to learn about the medical center, but there's better ways to do that than when you're sick. And it is not cheap. If you take your first aid kit, you may be able to ward off and take care of some of those minor illnesses. Now, what do I have in my first aid kit? Let me open it up here and take a look. I have, first of all, antibiotics. I've gotten these. My doctor will prescribe a minimal amount when I'm traveling to take care of certain ailments. I take something for cold and flu. You're going to be eating a lot, Tums, or some type of heartburn medicine is always a good to have. Listerine, mouthwash, whatever brand you use. If you have allergies, don't forget to take your EpiPen. Carry several with you and make sure your friends know where you carry them. Some type of hydrocortisone cream. This one I actually bought when I was in Spain. Be sure that you can ask for these wherever you are and carry them. Couple things that I tend to carry because you're going to be going through different climates. I carry some throat lozenges, other brands, and then I carry just hard candy in my first aid kit. These help if I have a little tickle, or maybe I'm hungry but can't get to eat something yet. I will eat on the hard candy. Of course, don't forget your lip balm, some hand sanitizer, and it never hurts to have just some miscellaneous Band-Aids. I also carry some type of motion sickness. I've only had to take these once when we were rocking and rolling on a transatlantic cruise. I didn't feel bad because the crew was also getting sick. I figured if they got sick, I can have a few hours of sickness, but always carry them. And of course, these days it never hurts to carry a COVID test kit that you can take in the privacy of your room without having to call the medical center. That is my first aid kit. Let's move on to some of those optional items that you might want to pack. First of all, we have the water cup or bottle. I like to take a straw as well. Or you can just take a generic water bottle. I usually use this one for water, and I use my other one for tea or juice. Another item that is nice to have in your room. Do you take your phone? Do you take a tablet? Do you take a laptop? Maybe you have a watch that needs to be plugged in. We have so many electronic gadgets these days, and yet the cruise ships have limited outlets. Extension cord, answer to your question. This extension cord has where I can plug in 3 items as well as has a room for 3 USB cords. Now, one thing to be careful when you're taking an extension cord on a ship, make sure it is not one that has a surge protector. It simply means to be a basic extension cord, or they will confiscate it from your luggage and you won't get it back until the end of the cruise. Therefore, it won't help you with your issue. If you do have a CPAP machine, several of the cruise lines will provide an extension cord if you ask, but it would be better to have your own and not need to rely on that. Now, when you're using your extension cord, a lot of the ships also have the US plug and a European plug. I take a converter. This way I can use both plugs and have twice as many outlets. It's good to have. I travel a lot internationally, but it also is nice to have to be able to use those extra plug-in areas on a ship that you may not be able to use if all you have is a US or a European plug. Some things that I recently found out that are really nice to have. And of course, I just dropped one of them. Magnetic hooks. I have some heavy-duty hooks and I have some light-duty hooks. These are very nice to hang things on your wall. You can get some with clips where you can hang your papers that give you the program for the day. You can use these to hang a lanyard on. Maybe you want to hang a poncho or a jacket or a hat on them. They have multiple uses. Most cruise room cabins are magnetic walls. So it's really nice to see that. I may also mention some other ways that I would use them. One of those ways is a shoe organizer. Now this is the one I have, and I will show you a photo of it so that you can see what I mean. But it's a nice place to put all those little doodads that would normally lay all over your desk area or your table area and take up room and look like clutter, and then you're digging through trying to find what you need. I take these, I use the heavy duty magnetic hooks that I mentioned to hang this up because it can get heavy, but I can put in all my hair stuff, my hair brush, my hair ties. I put in a rain poncho. I put in all types of items that I don't want to have laying around, and they're in here and easy to find and kept a lot nicer. Some people also like to have some type of lanyard to wear around their neck that they keep maybe their key card in, or sometimes you can get one to keep your phone in. A phone would actually, depend on the size, go in this one. I have one because somebody gave it to me, but it's not something I normally use. But I would say I see at least half the people on cruise ships have one of these to carry their key card around. I also carry a collapsible bag. This was one of those nice ones you can roll it up very small. When you're out and about in a port and you decide to buy a souvenir, a lot of times they either don't give you a bag or some places may charge you for a bag. So it's always nice to have something that's easy to carry, but you can take it out and it can be used to carry your souvenirs. If I'm going somewhere to a beach, I may carry a bigger bag because I have my beach wear, my water shoes, etc. in there. But for this, is for shopping, is very nice. Now, when we're talking about being on the beach, or maybe you like to sit by the pool, or you like to sit on your balcony and you have your towel. Those towels may tend to flip around and blow in the wind. It's always nice to have some travel clips. These are nice little ones that look like flip-flops. They hold your towel to the chair, or they hold something to the chair on your balcony. Now, I would not advise leaving things overnight on your balcony with these, because when the ship really starts moving, it can get very windy. You also need to watch when you're in port. They may have scheduled days where they're cleaning your balcony and you don't want to leave stuff there, but these towel clips do come in very handy. Something else that you may have, if you're like me, you have to get up in the middle of the night, you go to the bathroom, you can't find your way there. It's nice to have a night light. This is light sensitive. I plug it in the bathroom. The nice thing is it also has 2 USB ports on it. You can plug some of your items that you need in the bathroom into here if you have a USB port. Makes it very convenient. Depending on what port you're going to or where you are sailing, especially Alaska or some of the very scenic areas, maybe you need some binoculars. These are compact binoculars. They don't take up much room, but they do help me when I'm trying to find that whale or that bird or that eagle. I use my binoculars. And of course, you don't want to go anywhere without your camera. Now, you may be using your phone as a camera, but one of the things I like is I have a Polaroid camera. It will print the picture out immediately. The nice thing about that is I have a lot of friends who are crew on the cruise ships. They like to put pictures on their walls, but yet they don't have an easy ability to print. I can take pictures with my Polaroid camera, print it out, then I can use my camera to take a picture of that picture or to just take another picture, and they can keep that picture. So it's a nice way to send and share pictures, whether it be with crew or it be with people that you have met along the way that you want to share those pictures with. Let's now talk about a few items that aren't required. They're not as needed, but they're nice to have. Sometimes it depends on how long you're going to sail for. Electronics. We know you're probably going to have your phone. But we have so many digital nomads these days. Maybe you're taking your laptop. Maybe you're taking your tablet because you are going to work while you're there. So make sure you pack your electronics. I travel with a phone, a tablet, and a laptop. I don't always need to hook up to Wi-Fi, but I need to be able to be on my laptop. So don't forget, what electronics do you need? And don't forget the cords for all those electronics. Another item I take are books. Now you may want to take an e-reader, you may want to take an actual physical book. I generally take both. My e-reader tends to die and I have to recharge it. In that time frame, while it's recharging, I can take my physical book out. The nice thing about physical books as well is after you're done with them, you can leave them. A lot of cruise ships have a library that you can leave books in. You can exchange books. They may have a section specifically for that. One cruise that I was on actually had a few times during the cruise where you could go meet with a crew member who really was just kind of sitting there to facilitate the area, but you could drop off books that you finish. You could get new books. You could do a book exchange right there. I've also made friends on cruises where we arranged to exchange books at some point. One of the things I really enjoy on cruises are the theme parties. I love the nighttime, the nightlife. A lot of times when other people are going to bed, I'm heading out. I take my nap in the afternoon and then I head to the theme parties. Now there's lots of different theme parties. You may want to be prepared for it. I love some of the Carnival parties, the Fiesta Caliente parties, the 80s parties. I've been to a music fest. I've been to Abolitious, the 70s, disco, Bollywood, country. There are all types of theme nights. Usually before you get on your ship, you can find out, maybe through a group that you belong to, what theme parties they're going to have, and you can take the appropriate attire. That does not mean that you cannot attend a theme party if you do not have the proper attire, but it's a lot more fun to be dressed and to be having fun and to wear something like colorful feathers. Decorations. Because I spend so much time on cruise ships, the rooms tend to get old, they tend to be boring, and I like to decorate. One of the things that I take to decorate are banners. They're simple, and again I drop them. They're simple to hang on your wall, whether they be Fiesta, spring, summer. You'll also see I'm going to show you some for Thanksgiving and Christmas. You can also, on many cruise lines, decorate your door to your stateroom. You may want to check beforehand to make sure that is allowed. If it's not and you decorate, a lot of times the steward will take the stuff off your wall and will put it in your room and maybe make a note. But many do allow you to hang something that is very simple on the door. And it's a good way, as I said, to make it feel more friendly and more at home. Some other things that I take, my option and nice to have are scarves. These are good when you've been out and you come in and it's cold. You may want to wrap a scarf around yourself. It also helps decorate up a dress. And I carry them when I go to certain shore excursions. If I'm going to some type of religious building, I will generally cover my head and I will carry a scarf to do that. As well, I also carry a blanket. This is a shuka that I got in Africa. This, again, will make a nice blanket. I usually lay it on my bed. My steward usually lays it out really nice across the bottom of my bed. I can curl up in it as a blanket. I've been on cruises where I went out on the balcony on a hammock or a chair, and I was able to curl up in this and be warm and also have it to make me feel at home. One of the other types is a pillow/blanket. My mom made this for me. It is a blanket that folds up. It goes into this little pocket and it makes a nice pillow, or I can take it out and still keep warm and still feel like I'm at home. One of the things that you may want to do, it's not really a thing to take, but it's something to have if you're taking your laptop. Maybe download some movies, download some books. Make sure you have things on there that you can use and you can watch to entertain, especially if you have children along. One other thing that I like to take with me is this book or a similar one. This one says, Let the Adventure Begin. It's a nice place to write down your memories from the trip. As I look through here, I have some stickers where I've had shore excursions. I have memories. And you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to get home. I'm never forgetting this day. I'm going to remember everything that happened. Trust me, you probably won't. You'll remember highlights, and there may be things that you remember. But it's great to make notes. They don't have to be long, written out paragraphs. Maybe it's just a simple note. But having a notebook such as this, and don't forget to have something to write with, a pen or a pencil, is very nice. Along those same lines, to remember, I take some type of pocket folder. Now, I tend to use these quite frequently. I have all of my information before I even leave home on what is going to be in each one. I have an Excel spreadsheet that shows me every step of my trip, every port. When I'm on a cruise ship, I tend to take those daily newsletters, and I take them and I put them in here to take home with me to refer to later when I need to write something or if I need to make a video. So something like this is a nice to have. What else do we have here? We have a hat. Now this hat rolls up very small, but it also will unroll, and it's nice to have a hat, especially if you have light colored hair like I do. I can get sunburnt through my hair, so something like that is very nice. One thing you'll notice on a lot of cruise ships, you'll see people playing cards. Some cruise ships have cards that you can borrow from guest services desk. Some you don't. So I tend to pack a deck of cards. It stays in my organizer that's hanging on my wall, but I can pull them out when I need them. I also have security carriers, one for the neck, one for the waist, that I may or may not use depending on the port. I will say that I tend to leave most of my valuables on the ship when I get off, just to be safe, but there's always something that you need to take, like a driver's license, maybe a credit card and some cash that you can put in there. One of the things to keep in mind as you are traveling and wearing all those clothes, they will get dirty. You can do laundry. Most ships do not have a self-serve. You have to send it out. It is not always cheap. They may be running a special partway through the week, but you need somewhere to put that dirty laundry. Some type of laundry bag is always very helpful. Now, if you're like me and you travel for long time frames, you can't pack everything you need. Some of your items that are smaller, you may be able to wash in your sink in your bathroom. A lot of the bathrooms will have a cord that comes out to hang up your clothes, your small items. So I also take laundry sheets. They're just little tiny sheets. You pull out, depending on how much you wash, you can just pull off a little corner. You don't generally need the entire sheet to wash, but it's a good way to wash out your items that are smaller. I also tend to visit or travel with a rain poncho. These should be in my first aid kit, gloves just in case you never know what you're going to need, and then a bag. This is my bag that I take on most shore excursions. It can be crossbody in the front, crossbody on the back. It can hang over my shoulder. I can just carry it. I also will carry it around a lot on the ship depending on what I need to take with me. It's small, but when you're going on a shore excursion, you don't generally need very much, and I can wear this in the front and feel safe. I'm sure there are many items that others take, some that I've missed, some maybe I don't take that you take or you feel are important. If you feel I missed something or you want me to add it, please put it in the comments below so that other people can see what you take. Meanwhile, if you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel. More videos will be coming out. Now that you know what to take, it is time to pack your bags.